Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Justin Zephyrine, and I'm here with Dr. LeRoy Hill. And we really want to take this opportunity to unpack this whole concept of the teaching e-portfolio. All right? Dr. Hill, we know that the teaching portfolio is really a sort of showcase
It is a showcase,
as
yeah.
an educational practitioner. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, for me, the teaching portfolio is an exhibit you are showcasing, but it's an intentional showcase. It's not just everything.
Right.
So it's intentional in the sense that you provide evidence of your journey as a practitioner in different ways, and at various points of reflection, you will demonstrate the artifact, and then you would write up, give a description about it and why, what you were doing when you did that, and what was the process towards your, um, your professional thinking or the activities that you did around that, and so forth.
So I guess it encapsulates your journey as an educational practitioner, yeah,
Yes,
and
it,
your
is- it
development.
yes it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I like that, and the I like that you mentioned evidence as well. So it's not just a narrative, so to speak, or a textual thing. Could you elaborate on that in terms of evidence?
Well, some persons often use a portfolio to mean it's a grab of everything. But I started with the word intentional because you really want to show that you have, as a practitioner, over the years, are evidencing your philosophy, your
Right.
education philosophy.
Right.
Why? What drives you? I mean, as practitioners, we are driven by our values, and so the values that you hold, your philosophy is part of that, and so you are giving evidence of the things that you do that aligns with your values
Yes.
within the portfolio.
Yes. So it's not everything that you're
It's
just
not
gonna, yeah,
everything because you really
just
can't capture. It's really just a glimpse into your journey.
exactly, exactly,
I do know there are some persons who try to bring in everything
everything.
in their journey, and it doesn't give a a very good insight because what happens is that it becomes too much.
Yes, and it's all over the
It's all over
place.
the place.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really want it to be intentional. Like, this is the journey I want. I want to give you that lived experience, but through my eyes as a practitioner. I'll start with my philosophy,
Right. Yeah.
and this is my worldview. This is how I'm gonna do it. What are your goals, your career aspirations, and
Definitely.
those different things. You definitely want to have a well-designed portfolio that gives the reader a sense of who you are.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
A sense of who you are.
And it's almost like a lesson plan, technically speaking, because
Yes,
you have to be very strategic or systematic about it and what you're including. Yeah.
yeah.
And I like that you mentioned it incorporates your teaching philosophy as the premise, and your goals, and then of course the activities or the responsibilities or initiatives you've taken as a teacher. Not so?
Yeah, and oftentimes persons try to see this part as their CV, which is fine, which is fine, but you don't want it to really be a boast. You really want it to be an element in there that shows these are the various activities that align with my philosophy.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
if my philosophy say that I'm a constructivist, then you can point some of these things that you would have done to show
Right.
your commitment to the constructivist approach to teaching and
Right.
learning. Not giving them something other than that, because then you will have to give a very good reason why is this
Yeah. Why is it
exhibit
there?
here, and you can put it, by the way. It's just that
Right.
it can't just be left hanging. And
Yeah.
I
It
think
doesn't serve a purpose.
oftentimes persons include artifacts within the portfolio, and there's not that linkage with their philosophy and linkage with why it's there.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and it's not just
Where did this come from?
yeah, where did this come
Yeah.
from? Yeah, yeah.
Why is it there? So, in essence, the e-portfolio, you have the teaching philosophy, yeah, which comprises, of course, your conceptions and beliefs and so on about teaching and learning, um, what experiences you've had as an educator, whether as a teacher or a student as well, yeah? Because, there's a research has shown that sometimes people teach the way they were taught,
Oh yeah,
yeah?
yeah.
And then, of course, how do you perceive learning? Yeah. And the instructional practices that go along with that. So I think, so we spoke about teaching philosophy, but there are also like at least two other elements in the e-portfolio. Of course, the responsibilities and practices which we spoke about, and then, of course, evidence of effective teaching. What are some of the things that we could incorporate as evidence of effective teaching and learning?
I think for me, I'd want to showcase me using tools or technology.
Right.
And
right.
I love that because primarily it provides an opportunity to show teaching excellence using tools. I follow Vygotsky's thinking about mediating artifacts. And so we are all influenced, whether it's psychological tools or physical tools, and if those physical tools be a buzzer in the classroom or a clicker in the classroom, I can really share how my use of clickers in the classroom enables engagement and motivation and the different things.
Right.
So I think for me, the important part is to really dovetail into those specific aha and winning moments, or perhaps sometimes failures that you want to reflect on. You want to say, this did not work.
Yeah,
If definitely,
nobody's
I tried
perfect.
this new tool,
Yeah.
or I tried this approach, or approach to my teaching, and it just did not work. Or perhaps I try to translate a teaching strategy that did not work with this cohort of students.
Right.
So it's all those different things that you want to try and
I know some persons who tried to venture into teaching online for the first time, and then it wasn't so smooth, and then they got, discouraged. But then I think that's part of the process, that you reflect on how you could improve and whatnot. And I think in terms of evidence, footage of that is good.
Yes.
As well as the course experience reviews and so on, and student feedback.
I like the fact that you mentioned student feedback, because even if I'm talking about my online experience, I can draw on in my reflection, zoom into the student lens.
Yes.
Brookfield speaks about the four lenses, but we can certainly see where in my reflection and in my ePortfolio, that is not just me saying. My peers are saying as well.
Yes. And then your students
and the students. So it could also be, Dr. Zephyrine, the feedback I received from my peer observation based on my online class.
Yes.
So it could also be that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is excellent. So I think, it's safe to say as we kind of wrap up that the ePortfolio and the teaching philosophy and all that it comprises, there's no one formula for it. I mean, there are basic components that are necessary, but it can take different formats, correct?
Yes, it can. And it can. And I've seen some really exciting and insightful, mindful ePortfolios where persons really took the time out to get into the seat of the person who will be viewing this ePortfolio. And am I selling myself from a lived experience? Are you getting that lived experience?
Right.
And so they ensure that they have a very rich experience, is text, video, audio, that balance. And sometimes you have some interactive elements because they can actually give feedback for you on your ePortfolio.
True. Yeah.
In that sense. So I think students in the Cuttle would really be happy in using those various means of engaging the viewers from that end. So if you start with the end in mind,
you know where you're going.
You know where you're going. And I think these are some of the things you can incorporate. Start with the, yes, this is about you, but think about the person you're selling this to.
Yes.
And this could be for a teaching award. It could be for your teacher, facilitator. In our case, this is for us as the facilitators.
Yeah.
But it can certainly be your promotion for your own practice in terms of your practice as a higher education practitioner.
And that was going to be my next question, but I think you kind of answered it, that it's the benefits of this, they're multifaceted.
Oh, yes.
It's for your improvement as an educator, yes, but you can also go on for awards, whether it's a UB Guardian Group Teaching Award, and other awards that you might be aware of as well. So I hope this really helps to clarify what teaching ePortfolio is all about in a nutshell. And should you have any questions, feel free to contact us.